on our inaugural episode, our inaugural live stream the other day, Marcus Farrell, who was part of the
Your inaugural
2016
live stream.
Virgil did not join me, but we were joined by Marcus Farrell, who was part of the 2016. I think his title was African American Outreach Coordinator, and his suggestion was to try to incorporate, to your point, something about the movement for Black Lives as part of the package. He was talking about reparations, but I could see targeting, incorporating rather the specific movement around Black Lives from the summer and police overreach, etc., in order to.
No, I just want to take this moment. Stop it. No, I just want to take this moment because y'all know I hate, I hate Bree's politics. I'm gonna stop saying I hate Bree because I don't hate her personally because I don't know the woman, but I hate her politics. But you see how she was like, yeah, Marcus was talking about reparations, but I said instead of reparations, we should talk about putting Medicare for all with Black Lives Matter. Even though Black Lives Matter and reparations go hand in hand. Because how do you prove that Black Lives Matter? By putting some money in their hands. It's like, come on.
That's how America works.
I just love how she always pops out and be like, oh yeah, let me take this fire.
Yeah, and I think, and that's an important point, Sam, is that, and again, I've said this before and I'll say it again, is that I am a great person to look at my trajectory as a writer on the left. The moment I start fighting for reparations, specifically for the descendants of slaves, oh my God, I was so loved up until that very point. Right? I'm an asshole. Don't get me wrong. It's okay not to like me. I'm used to it. But God damn, talk about people getting dropped like a hot stone. Right? So she understands that. She understands that fight for reparations will get you all kinds of pushback and everything else. You get called everything but a child of God. But my people are dying. It's time for some courage, folks. But there is a new movement on the left run by 3 black guys, and they're going to change that shit.
The elephant in the room is the relationship with Ben Dixon. So,
okay, I'm lying.
I'm so dead. I'm so dead. They're gonna change this. But no, just before this, listen. So I said this on another podcast the other day. I said, until the midterms, I don't trust nothing. I'm on some Uncle Ruggers, don't trust them new Negroes over there kind of stuff. Because until we get to the midterms and people, I want to see these same people who are sitting here talking a little bit of trash not back Joe, not back these Democrats come 2022 and the midterms, because they haven't done enough for us to get out here and be pushing these folks. So a lot of people right now are, this about Joe Biden and complaining about this and acting all rah-rah. But as soon as it's time to vote, I watch these same people start shepherding people back into the polls to vote for these same people who ain't been doing nothing for us. Mark my words.
This is what makes reparations was such a clarion call for me, because it's so simple, right? It's just rock solid who I need to be right now for my people, right? Mm-hmm. Specifically for my family, for my once, for those of you who are just coming to the show or never been to the show before, there's a statistic out there that says my sons, right? I got 3 sons. My sons are, no matter what I do, no matter what my family does, they are more likely to fall into poverty in the United States than any other group. It's a 75% chance that they will fall into poverty as adults. 75% chance just because they descend from slaves. That's wild to me. Absolutely. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ledger, mediocrity is getting served left and right. Mediocrity will make you a billionaire. You know what I mean? So this reparations is the only path that is possible, and nothing can change that. That's kind of a privilege I get from being a reparationist, right? It's crystal clear. The fight is crystal clear. You can't pay me to change that fight, right? Nothing matters. Nothing else matters. So that's just my 2 cents. Again, I'm running my mouth. Mud, what you got, man?
I mean, to piggyback off of what you're saying, I
I think reparations is the key to solving our political system in a weird way, because if you think about it, our politics, like Black people's politics, is in shambles because we have a lot of opportunists. And the reason why we have a lot of opportunists is because we don't have a lot of wealth in our community. So, you know, we got a bunch of people willing to sell us out, you know, with the quickness. Yeah. And then when you think about like progressive politics, like honestly, the roadblock in all of this is the race issue. Once you deal with that race issue, then the fight changes. It like, I mean, you're not dealing with a Republican Party that's like trying to, you know, cover all of their motivation, their like racist motivations with this weird policy that doesn't really benefit anyone. You know,
solving problems that don't exist. Yeah.
Yes. So then you have to act like, then it becomes a thing of like, well, we're actually going to be competing about who has the best ideas to actually solve these problems again. And that's what I think will solve like our political system. And I mean, honestly, if the progressives, if they could find a way to gain the victory and push through reparations, you know, all these other plans that they have, the UBIs, the free universal health care, all this stuff becomes easy to push through.
Jobs guarantee. Yep, absolutely.
All that stuff becomes easy. So yeah, that's all I got.
All right, Doc, what you got, man?
I have to figure out how to use technology first. Sorry. Yeah, I agree with you guys. And I especially agree with what Mud just said. If you actually take the race issue off the table by solving it through something like reparations, you could actually make some great steps toward having policies that will, benefit everybody in the country, as well as, Black Americans. So once you actually do the thing, once you get these people, the people that would benefit from reparations, once you get people like that wealth, in the community, then you can start actually having a conversation about what Social Security would actually cost, what Medicare would actually cost. And you can actually have a real conversation about how far we need to go with regard to all that once you get the reparations issue solved. But I agree, you shouldn't mix them up with these other things, because as Samantha very wisely pointed out to me when she was doing my show, jobs guarantee or housing assistance or these other things are not reparations. Reparations is something totally different. And I think that it should be prioritized. Personally, that's what my belief is.
Thanks, Doc. Appreciate that. Big John, what you got?
Yeah, I just think, just to piggyback off of what all y'all said, I think what Breed Joy is doing is really what the modern quote unquote left, a lot of progressives, and even some people on your side, the far left, if you consider communists or something like that, they'll do things like this. They'll tug on our emotional heartstrings. So they'll be like, I seen a movie, it's called Soul Food, and Big Mama died. They cut her leg off, and she had diabetes. If she had Medicare for all, she'll be alive. It's like, no. The reason Big Mama is dead because Reconstruction was never fulfilled. That's the reason why she died young. You know what I mean? Like, it's not because she didn't want to go, she couldn't afford to go to the hospital. She probably was scared to go to the hospital. Nobody did nothing to undo this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So now you're talking about these sweeping everybody. If Reconstruction happened, first of all, we wouldn't have none of these, like a lot of these economic problems, social problems, because you done took care of the bottom cast in this country. It's over. It's done. This America is moving forward, steaming forward. But no, you didn't do that. So now you want to come back to me and tell me that these all-inclusive policies is going to rouse my people up when you ain't do the work to really target our direct harm. So
and most of their people just got here. Got here in
1901. Word up. I got here in 1901. Hey, yo, I get down with the labor union, Polish dude. Get out of here, nigga. Out here. What the fuck, yo? Like, whoa, no. It's like I left Poland. I was at the bottom class in Poland. I'm not gonna do that here. I'm not gonna do that here. Like, this is America. Like, so at the end of the day, it's like, this is what lefties, they always do this shit when it comes to, like, a lot of these things could be easily solved if you solve the race issue. And that comes with elevating our economic position first, and then with economics comes social and political position. You know what I mean? Like, these things are all tied together, like, and they have to be specific and targeted for specific damages. You can't just give everybody everything and expect shit to close because we don't got nothing. Right. That's the thing. They bank on us not having nothing to be so desperate to be like, you know what? I do want to go to the hospital and I have to pay for it, even though it's shitty. Like, come on.
Yep.
More.
They're banking on our desperation. That's exactly what the left is doing.
You know, not only that, it's owed. So I mean, that's the one thing
absolutely.
it's owed. So
yeah, absolutely. Sam, what you got, Sam? Thanks, John. Doc too.
No, it's just more of the same with it all. But no, I just enjoy what everybody had to say about it. But for me, it's just more of the same. Like, we know that we need reparations. Like I love to say, just clear us off the board. If you do reparations, after that, you can do all the class policies that you want to do from here on out.
With the most progressive group in the country sitting there helping you, right? With all this money, of course, it's going to change the face of politics in the United States, right? The most progressive group in the country, historically, right? We are the very first civil rights bill was written for us specifically. We are the civil rights fight, right? The 1866 civil rights bill, was that the one? 1866, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the very first civil rights bill in the United States, and maybe the first civil rights bill in the world, right? Was because of us. Just keep that in mind when you get out of pocket, folks. All right, so that's I'm sorry, Sam, were you done?
No, yeah, I'm good. I'm good on that one. We can see what the last few little chats they got to say on this is, and then we can do final thoughts.
In order to galvanize a broader segment of the population, practice intersectionality instead of just saying it over and over again as a buzzword, putting a different kind of pressure on Democratic Party leadership, since they all just put their kente cloths on and kneeled at the Capitol just a few months ago. You know, and I think that there's something to that. There's obviously some risks that the more you pile on.
All right. They recognize this nonsense that the Democratic Party is doing, and they screaming about intersectionality. Intersectionality is where these things are a portion of the intersection. Our corner of the intersection is reparations, but you avoid that fucking corner like it's fast, like the fucking leprosy is over there, right? You avoid that corner. If we're going to be intersectional, let's be intersectional, family. Let's talk about reparations. Let's put it on the table. But no, that's a bad intersection. I don't want to go in that neighborhood. All right, I'm sorry. Anybody else got anything before we go on?
No, I just hate intersectionality. I 100% hate that.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, me as a poor Black woman, and you know, Gloria Steinem as a rich white woman are both oppressed the same because we're women. I cannot.
Yeah.
I cannot. I hate intersectionality. I do. I hate it. I know, but I hate it. I hate Black girl magic too. So go ahead and add me 17 trillion. I'll just go through a list of like all the little things that just drive me crazy. Like, I don't want to be magic. I just want to like be able to go through my day and not be stressed out and like just be able to have like a good life. Yeah, like, I don't want to have to be like a fucking superhero for that to happen.
Oh, you mean you don't want to kick down any wisdom to us? I need some old folk wisdom.
I'm telling you, right? I know. No, it's too much, man. It's too much. It's like, damn.
You supposed to preface that what my grandmother used to say. That's what
I know, right? I know. It's like
slick.
Black girl magic. And I'm just like, damn, can we stop trying to tell our little girls to be superheroes? That's why they stress the fuck out.
Yeah. Yep. And I would love for this world to be like everybody's mediocrity is cool. You can still eat every day, even if you're mediocre, right? Not just one group that could be mediocre, So I would love for that to happen one day. All right. Mud, you got anything on that? Or you just want to go on so you can leave?
Yeah, let's just finish out Bree. I think we got like 3 minutes. Let's just
Mud. Damn it. All right.
You ready, Mud? You got anything, Mud, for Bree?
No, let's go. What up? No, let's.
The more there is for folks to object to, but it's also true that the more you pile on, the more there is for people to rally around. What do you think about linking kind of more explicitly the Medicare for All movement to a movement for Black lives, which does have as part of its agenda universal health care?
And single payer specifically.
Yeah.
I'm totally on this page, Brianna. This is exactly what I think we should do. And I've been trying to do it in a kind of beginning way. We did a series webinars, Black Health, Black Liberation, where we foregrounded kind of the triple crises of state-sanctioned police violence, the pandemic, and rampant fundamental inequality. right? And say we need a comprehensive response to those issues and foregrounding the issue of police brutality, because we have to, first of all, we have to acknowledge that. But secondly, so we're
no, fuck.
Hey, yo, they about to say, yo, they trying to say like police killing Negroes. If we just make hospitals free, Negroes gonna live longer, and the police ain't gonna kill them no more. That's all we got. Hello,
I hate this what the fuck is the word? This breaking our struggle down to police brutality. That's not the only thing. And if we weren't broke, if we could all afford good lawyers, this shit would stop last week. It would have stopped last week. And that's the thing. The bottom line is our economic situation. It's not going to fix everything immediately. But if we could afford lawyers, this show would be totally different. Pookie wouldn't be in jail. Ray wouldn't be in jail. And maybe some of these cops would be in jail. You know what I mean? When you what's the word? I forget the word. It doesn't matter. When you push everything about our struggle to make it about the police brutality, you've lost me right there. There's a whole bunch of other shit we're dealing with. Right, healthcare. Yes, we're also dealing with that. And even if you push Medicare for all, as John clearly explained, we'll still be dealing with it. Right? It all boils down to our wealth position. It simply does. After 400 years on this damn continent, forced. Right? So I just I hate that. Hold on. I'm sorry, folks. I know I'm extending this. This is a message to Mr. Michael Lighty. There is a Twitter account that claims to be the Afro socialist or whatever they are. They claim that DSA pushed them out there to fight against us reparationists. I need Michael Lighty to let me know why you did that, if it's true, and if it's not true, why you allow them to say that. All right, I need to hear that clearly, because if you send a group of people out to fight against reparations as the Democratic Socialists of America, it's fuck you all day, and everything I got is gonna be fuck you. That's from me to you there, Michael Lighty, from Michael to Michael. All right, anybody else got anything on this?
So we're incorporating some of that work. We've been doing listening sessions with frontline organizations serving communities of color to say, look, you're like in an existential crisis. We get that. You're not going to be out there waving the flag for Medicare for all, but how can we integrate, right, the needs of your work and our organizing program? We've recalibrated the DSA Medicare for All organizing guide, putting up front the Medicare for All as an anti-racist demand against racial capitalism, right? Making that explicit. We've got a national strategy conference at the end of January. We're going to do a workshop called Campaign for Health Equity, a winning political strategy for single payer. And I want to link not only to the Black Lives Movement and the BREATHE Act, which I wish the BREATHE Act actually included Medicare for All. It's Medicaid expansion, does some other great things, but I wish it went all the way. But that, but also Representative Lee's one of the key drivers of the Health Equity Act, right, to deal directly with those issues within structural racism within healthcare. So that's another way we've got to integrate. So I think this is the only way to succeed, and we have to acknowledge that our movement is white and old and a little out of touch. And the thing that revitalized it was, the influx of young folks, mainly from DSA, but obviously that's got deficiencies too, in terms of breadth and reach. And so, and when I've certainly been schooled when a lot of Black folks, other people of color hear Medicare for all, as soon as they hear all, they figure, that's not us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an uphill battle, and I know that there are a lot of folks who are going to be like, the whole point is it's a universal program. If you start emphasizing discrete groups, then you're undercutting its viability. But I think we cannot ignore the reality of what Bernie's vulnerabilities were in 2016, and he improved a lot in 2020, but they were still there. And it's that people feel like unless they're willing to articulate something specific for them, or at least characterize the universal program in a way that is directly appealing to a specific group, then they aren't wrong to assume, given historical precedent, that this universal program isn't going to end up touching their lives.
We made it. We survived. All right. I want everybody in the.
that was one of the least excruciating ones that we've been through, because sometimes watching Breathe, that is that's tough.
All you Medicaid for all folks out there who are just Medicaid for all, I need you all to read Medical Apartheid and understand why we don't trust a lot of us don't trust our medical system. Read Medical Apartheid and you'll understand. Right, this like SNL just had this thing about us not trusting the COVID vaccine. They just did a skit on that. And if you understood our relationship with the medical field here in the United States, you would understand the Tuskegee incident where they were injecting black men with under the guise of being a new healthcare program, right? Under the guise of being a new healthcare program, they injected these men with syphilis and they monitored how syphilis went through the community based on them inserting it into the community, right? This happened. Henrietta Lacks, they took her cells, and like something, I think somebody said like 60% of the medical industry is based on those cells. The pharmaceutical industry, those cells are like 60% of the wealth that's been generated from in the pharmaceutical industry, a billion, maybe $1 trillion industry. It was based on the cells of Henrietta Lacks, the HeLa cell.
And they never pay her family.
They ain't paid her family shit. Nothing. I mean, like I said, read Medical Apartheid. We can go. I could tell you stories like this all day. Read Medical Apartheid, then you'll understand. Fuck SNL. All right. I'm sorry. All right, Doc, what you got? You the guest. You get some final thoughts if anybody got any.
Well, the first thing I want to say is based on that video, the idea that the Democratic Socialists of America are fighting for socialism is just, to me, it's ridiculous. I think that they're fighting to keep the system in place and make a few changes here and there. Mm-hmm. And none of that stuff addresses anything that you guys have been talking about or are talking about today. None of that, works to move anything forward. None of that works to improve anybody's wealth situation in the community or change the outcomes that they get from the various institutions in this country, because they're not actually fighting for socialism. They're fighting for the Democratic Party, and they're trying to maybe push the Democratic Party a little bit to the left, but they're not really very successful. And I don't think the Democratic Socialists or even the progressive movement in this country is probably going to be the answer to this question.
Yeah, you're right, Doc, and especially without us, right? Ignoring us is one of their biggest problems, right? Yeah. Again, we are the center of activism in this country, and you just keep avoiding us. In some ways, even sending people out to harm us, like Michael Lighty and this Afro Socialist Twitter account, right? So you need us. You recognize that you need us in this fight. Everybody recognize they need us in this fight, because everybody connects like John always says, everybody likes to connect their fight to our fight, right? So you recognize that you need us in one way or another. Even the right tries to tie themselves to our fight. Glenn Beck called himself the new incarnation of Martin Luther King one time. That's how wild this shit is. But nobody wants to serve us, right?
Well, Alex Jones is for reparations.
Alex Jones is for reparations? Mm-hmm. Oh, Jesus Christ! What is
it seems to me? It seems to me like when you guys, when people try to tie these various other movements to like a reparations fight or something like that, reparations always seems to take the back seat. Mm-hmm. Even if they do it explicitly, reparations or issues concerning the Black community always seems to take the back seat.
Yeah, absolutely. They just want to use us and move on. I mean,
that's it.
That's what everybody. I mean, and that's what everybody does. And the left learned to do that from the Democrats, right? They and we're not helping them because we keep voting Democrat. I mean, it is what it is. But we're slowly getting off that, and that's scaring the shit out of some people, which is wonderful to me.
Actually, I want to respond to Doc's point about how reparations or anything specifically for Black people kind of take a back seat. This is a phenomenon that we have noticed, and
for sure.
And we have gone to the left and let them know that we've noticed this, and this is why the Bernie Sanders campaign knows, and Bree knows this personally because many of us have told her this on Twitter and in person. So they know that we want something specific, And what they tried to do both times is just try to frame their universal programs as something that is, going to solve racial disparities, is anti-racist. And obviously we see they haven't learned their lesson because they're talking about doing the same thing right now. So, and the thing about this, I think I said this before on another episode, like trying to tie this into BLM based on police brutality. Look, the BLM thing is based on people being murdered. Once they're murdered, free healthcare does not benefit them.
Damn.
Like this is not a real tie-in. At least with the reparations argument, like the reparations, it might be a roundabout way to argue that it's actually going to solve the problem of Black Lives Matter, or the problem that Black Lives Matter purported to be tackling. There's some validity to that. You raise people's social economic situation, they're going to have less interaction with the police and less crime. So, yeah.
Listening to Reset Race, you now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race, you're now tuned in to Reset Race. What? Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Back on the grill again. We grilling them. You're listening to Reset Race. ADOS need reparations to make America great. You're tuned in to Reset Race. We no longer starving while others eat off our plate. No. You're listening to Reset Race. We focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake. Lineage go back to U.S. Southern plantations. Pennies, Jim Crow, and mass incarceration. Redline and lynchings. We are old from this nation. You're not about justice if you ain't for reparations. MG the wise one, cousin mother intellectual. Samantha bringing fire, anti-black, we pressing you. No permanent friends and no permanent enemies. The backbone of the country, the win. You need our energy. You gon' see. Listening to Reset Race. You now tuned in to Reset Race. You're listening to Reset Race. You're now tuned in to Reset Race. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Put them back on the grill again. We grilling them. Back on the grill again. We grilling them. You're listening to Reset Race. ADOS need reparations to make America great. You're tuned in to Reset Race. We no longer starving while others eat off our plate. No. You're listening to Reset Race. We focused on our justice claim. We know what is at stake. You're tuned in to Reset Race. You'll find out who really about justice and really who fake.
Until you do right by me, everything you think about is gonna crumble.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, Today, many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And this is what we are faced with.